still back here. And you get drawn way out of position. Something here?
No, he's at
Okay.
work.
That is unfortunate. Yeah, your main tank gets drawn way out of position, right? Like this is not where you want to be as Reinhardt. I don't know if anybody knew that, but
I believe he was just tilted from the game.
Yeah, I know he was pretty tilted at this point. He should still not like be past here yet, right? Like he needs to be playing with an LOS of his Bastion. So like the shatter may have been big, but the follow up was small. And ultimately, the result is that he gets killed by this ulting Roadhog.
Wait if you can. I have grav.
Actually, he gets grabbed. Then Fabulous gets killed because he's really far forward trying to heal him. If he had been further back, the other team tries to come out for a contest. You throw up your shield to Black Graviton. You drop a shatter when the other team tries to charge in. You know, can't. The other team is unable to get at the Bastion. Your front line doesn't collapse because your healers don't die because you're not super spread out and split up. It's a much better situation.
It's magic. Jump off. Alright, get out.
Every team has a big problem with splitting up and spreading out.
Like, if you don't shoot them, they won't stop you.
You close to Nano?
67.
Pretty much up until 4K, people get super spread out.
Pigeon, where are you going through? Tell me your path so I can shield you.
You wanna do Bastion?
Okay, Reinhardt should not be asking this, right? Ever.
What?
Thumper said, what is your path? Like 99% sure.
Yeah, he was asking me where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not the one. So?
As Bastion, you're like, I just want to be behind his shield, dude. I can be anywhere as long as I'm behind his shield, right? As Reinhardt, it is your job to know where you want to put your team, right? That's your whole purpose as Reinhardt, is to put your team somewhere to be successful. And you need to know where that is and how to get there. That's it. And if you know those two things, you can manage your shield, and your team will stand behind you, and you can just lead them into position and then sit there and hold right-click while your team does good things. That is your job. And you need to be able to lead that push. You need to be able to understand, hey, you know, my Bastion probably wants to be on cart. Well, how do I get him on cart? Well, we need to come around here. We need to hug this corner super tight so that he's got super good sight lines, but our supports are protected. It'll force them back. I can push up and take space all the way to this corner, and then Bastion can come up and set up probably right about here with good sight lines. I can come around, and we can try and get an ultimate fight off with this ult or this ult. If we do Zarya, we're going to combo with Blade. If we just do Bastion, which would probably be really good for the situation, you just buy space with that Bastion. You can get yourself reset back up on cart. You know, that's something that Reinhardt needs to understand. We're going to come here. We're going to go here. I'm going to get my players in a position. But he is delaying this push really hard.
I'm following the shield.
Alright.
That's what I'm doing.
Maybe you had a
Bastion grab. Bastion grab.
Bastion grab, not a good combo. By the way. The splash damage isn't that heavy from Bastion ult.
I believe it was a regular Bastion in the
Yeah. Just regular Bastion grab, good combo. I would combo the Blade, personally. That would be my solution to that.
Especially since they don't have defensive ultimates.
Exactly. The other team just have Ana and Mercy. Just combo Blade with that, because Blade's going to be harder to get value out of in this situation. You're probably not going to be able to get the Sombra. The Mercy's a maybe. The Genji's a maybe. The Reinhardt is scary. The Roadhog is a Roadhog. There's only one ult in the game that does enough damage to kill him. And like, so your Ana is pretty much your safest bet with your Blade. And she can sleep you. It's hard, but it's doable. It's possible. So you probably want to combo with the Blade with the Graviton. Not just for the Graviton, right? Because Graviton needs follow-up. You need to win that fight when you drop a Graviton. that's fantastic. There's a lot of ways to do that. You can nano your Reinhardt, you can drop a Genji blade, you can use a Bastion, you can pop Valk and just damage boost the hell out of everybody. That is fine. There's a lot of ways to combo your Graviton to make it successful, but you got to look at your other ults and see what's going to be successful without the Graviton, right? Obviously, Valk doesn't need a Graviton to be successful. Bastion ult, you're going to be looking to just blow into squishies up with your tank shots. You don't need the Graviton to be successful. As Bastion, you don't need the Graviton to be successful. You just put out damage. But this Genji blade is going to have a harder time against their team comp. You're going to want to combo that with something, whether it's Nano or Graviton is debatable. But in this situation, you have a blade and you have a Grav, so the decision's pretty much made for you.
No argue. No argue. No ults right now. Even like
This is a really good kite.
we don't
The
need ults.
shield needed to be up.
Like,
Wait,
no-
it was
no
hacked.
ults
What am I
right
saying? Alright.
Maybe you had a split.
Yeah.
Bastion grab. Bastion.
Alright, so this
now. No
happens,
ults right now. Even like
and
we
the
do.
kite was really good.
We don't need ults. Reset.
It's okay because the
Um,
competitive thing they
yeah.
had on that push.
Yeah, they committed Nano and Shatter and EMP.
But they still have
That is
upgrades, so keep
A
that in mind.
bad way to combo an EMP, but it was necessary because they could not afford to lose that fight. Like, if you drop an EMP into a fight and you don't win it, then you basically wasted.
Zero Shadow wasn't necessary because it was used to finish off people, but
They had to do that though. They couldn't just let you get away. They had kind of won the team fight, but they wanted the stagger. They wanted the guarantee. Maybe not totally necessary, but it was, you know,
Watch out for the hog. Watch out.
this is unfortunate. That is unfortunate and bad communication.
wait, was the bubble up? Just let it play, let it play.
Genji, wait for the second. Genji, if the first fight fails,
Alright, I'm gonna pause this because this is not what Azaria should be doing. Your job is to make these people have an easy life and basically use them to farm.
Got you, bro.
You're kind of wasting your time over here, right? Like your Genji or your Ana are gonna have a much better chance of actually fending off the Sombra. By you being over here, you give her a fat person to shoot at. And you're not gonna kill her, you're just gonna tickle her, which is gonna feed her EMP.
True.
So you should be up here with these people. Not that that would make a difference for what happens next, but it's still where you should be.
Well, the ball was still up, so I could actually have been saved here.
You could have been saved if Strat was a telepath and
Well-
knew that you were going to get hacked and hooked, because as soon as that, like, the Roadhog and the Sombra did not plan this out. Roadhog just walked around and hooked you,
Yeah.
and Sombra
But-
just walked up and hacked you. So
When Strat saw the hack, he could have bubbled me to try to save the hack. So we can continue to push and kill off the Reinhardt.
I wouldn't do that as a Zarya. I would just wait for it to go down,
Okay.
because it's not going to kill your, it's going to slow your push down, but it's not going to kill it, and it's going to be a wasted bubble, right? Like, that's an 8-second cooldown that you really don't want to waste, because if you waste it, then Zarya is basically a paperweight.
The friendly one is 6. The personal one is 8.
That's true. But you still, you need that because
it's
your Reinhardt
understandable.
needs it.
no, no, no.
Like, your
personal
Reinhardt
style.
has to have that bubble, because otherwise he's a paperweight. So if you use it on your Bastion here, then your Reinhardt has to wait for the bubble to come back up. And it gives the other team a go button to push your Reinhardt. It's like, hey, the Bastion just got bubbled. Sorry, it doesn't have a shield. We can go in on this.
Isn't Zarya's
Uh,
personal 10 and her teammate 8?
It is, actually,
Okay.
because Roadhog Hook is 8. So yeah, 8-second cooldown. It's not a good scenario to use that Zarya bubble there, because it doesn't help her any, and it doesn't really help your team. Like, it would have to happen super quick, right? Like, Strat doesn't see
Oh yeah, he was
that you're being hacked.
It's okay. It's okay.
because he's got to play right up here with his tank. So there's not really any way to save that.
Our Bastion's out.
It's unfortunate.
We need to do
If the
this.
Roadhog had been called out, that would have
Pretty
helped.
good.
Are we good for the ring gauge?
But it-
What are we waiting for?
It wouldn't have made a huge difference. I don't know why we back up this way.
Yeah, I didn't think we were backing up so far.
Yeah. If you go down a player, you run towards spawn. Unless it's one of those maps where it's like this is definitely a safe place to be, you run towards spawn. Because if you were grouped up as a 5 in there, they would have just run in and hit you until they got their ults and then ulted you to death.
No mercy, no mercy.
I mean, they even get in there and kill Fabulous.
Get out, guys. Get out.
We should go forward, dude.
Let's spawn right now.
Oh my
We have
god.
20 seconds. Just
We have all our ults. Like we need to
We
use
have
it.
everything.
We have to
Wait,
go
we-
now.
Pigeon,
We have
get
to
around
go
from
now.
Bastion.
Go,
Pigeon,
go,
I think you
go.
should switch from Bastion. I think you
I
should
will
switch.
touch.
You have to
I
let me
will
here.
touch.
Let's go.
I'm walking back from spawn.
Genji, just
Just
You want
grab
to know me?
that.
They one down,
Yeah.
I got 3.
2 down.
It's a really good Bastion ult.
Get down, get down.
Super clean.
Nano me.
Um,
bro,
Kill them.
poor J Pappy.
yeah, I got Nano off at the
Poor guy. You got Earth Shattered and Anti-Healed slept. It's a miracle you got the Nano off.
On point. On point. On point.
I just threw it out.
Good. We got this.
I'm impressed that you managed to push Q before dying. If nothing else, that's a testament to your ping.
Get the rock. Get the hog. Get the hog.
Honest was best support by far.
Roadhog does a good job of feeding you guys there.
Block the entrance. Block the entrance.
Here, pocket me so I can shatter. Pocket me so I can shatter.
That's a common strategy if you have a Winston or something. But if your Reinhardt pushes up at this door, the other team comes out this door, then you guys are fucked. Or if your Reinhardt pushes up to this door, and the team comes out that door, you guys are fucked. So it's kind of a no-win situation. Plus, you have a Bastion, right? Like, who gives a shit what door they come out of? You're just going to shoot them with the Bastion. What really matters here is this player's positioning, which is excellent. Far away, in a good situation, so that if you need to fly out Fabulous, you can. And your team is in a fine position. The only player that you might send to guard a doorway would be your Genji, because if they come out the other side, Genji can reposition quickly and be back in the fight on the card. But you would only really do that for scouting purposes, so that Bastion can pre-fire the doorway. There's not really any use to block the doorways. Like I said, if you have a Winston or a Diva or somebody like that, then yeah, they could run up there and try and block the doorway. But it can also lead to a fight throw. Like if you throw a Winston up there in that doorway and he doesn't have his ult or something, the other team pushes out to try and get to cart, they can burn him super quickly, and congratulations, now you're in a 5v6 situation, and the other team is rushing on a cart, and you don't have your tank, like you're missing a quarter of your HP from your team as a whole. It's just not a good situation to be in,
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
and they see 9, which is awesome.
In the
Who
game.
you end up nanoing?
Me.
I was about to die, dude. I literally for ults. We just
Very
It's got a
common.
problem here.
Tilted right now.
I didn't think it was so much that they forgot about the cart. Like, the Sombra actually low-key threw that one for them, going back. If you look at this,
Boost myself.
the Sombra gets really greedy here and goes deep. Right? If she hadn't gone so deep, it would have been a much different fight. Now, she does manage to hack everybody on the map, which is awesome for her. Like, congratulations. But she needed to EMP, like, right here over the cart. Still within range of you, but your priorities here are the tanks and Bastion. Strat particularly because it drops him to half HP and removes his shields. Thumper because he needs to die in order for them to get to cart. Bastion because he's not nearly as scary when he's not in turret form, The obvious suspects right here in this space. Genji too, because he's kind of useless without his abilities. But Ana, not a super important hack. So Sombra low-key through this point. That's what happened. Now Genji's doing his job. Reinhardt tries to do his job and he gets killed by Pigeon because you're damage boosting him, and Sombra's over here jerking somebody off because she went too deep for that.
Alright, nice job.
Wait, you guys
Back in the back.
play times.
Myself.
y'all are doing fucking fine. Like for the little bit of tilt, the wax.
Make that rocket jump to the.
Real quick, we're on the.
What were you asking?
Done with that.
Sound Widow, probably Fabulous.
I got you.
No, you just did not. Sombra.
If we lose first point,
Practice.
At least not that I remember. Don't run Sombra on Hanamura. It's bad.
make sure we recognize if
Okay.
it's not working.
Route 66?
I mean, it's.
That might have actually been this far, but I'm not sure.
I don't believe.
No, it is. It is actually. You guys do attempt to run Sombra on defensive Route 66. I'm pretty sure.
Was
Thumper
I
dies
that
in the
game?
hallway.
Yeah, I'll show
Everybody
it.
can stand behind this corner.
It
We
was.
can peel around the corner
actually.
this way.
Um,
So Fab, you'll
Thumper
probably
died in the
come
hallway.
with me.
Yeah,
So,
just
like,
like do it.
so like you can peel around the corner and me and Roadhog can protect you.
Yeah, I hear a Bastion. I don't know if they're gonna swap. Or
it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. It's not an easy strat to
I'm
run.
just gonna get a shot when I walk out of spawn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those. It sounds good in theory. Coordinating it is very difficult.
No, they're not.
This is definitely an interesting defensive strategy. It's not a bad defensive strategy per se, but you've got one of your tanks playing Widow. You've got one of your supports playing your other tank.
Those two are
I
flex
think,
player.
That's true,
We're both, yeah.
but if you need to swap up, you're going to lose a lot of ult percentage for the roles. Having flex players is fine, but if you're going to drop one of these two heroes, you're most likely to drop your Widowmaker, because on point B, Widowmaker's not very good. So, if you drop the Widowmaker, you're going to want another healer, and I don't know if Strat plays support or not.
Yeah.
Healer, I think. No, wait.
No, I swapped to Zen.
There's a huge clusterfuck of who swaps to what. I do know that. Like, everybody swaps to two different things. Except Fabulous. Fabulous is doing it.
I was told to go Winston. I don't know.
Fabulous and Thumper stayed the same, otherwise everyone else switched.
Yeah, no, Thumper goes to Winston.
No,
I go-
Thumper stayed the same because he still shielding me on Bastion.
And Junkrat.
Oh, no, that's right. Somebody went to Winston. It was weird. But you gotta, when coming up with a strat, you gotta take into account your swaps for second point, right? Especially on 2CP, you know. It's one of those, like, the reason your support plays the Sombra on Route 66 is because if it doesn't work out on point A, on point B, you're gonna need another support. And you don't want to be swapping a tank and a support and a DPS and losing a whole bunch of ult charge. Like, you want it to be clean, you want it to be fast, you want to be able to go, hey, you know, we just got capped out, but we've already got a Zenyatta from our Sombra, we're going to blow back out with this. You want it to be clean in that situation. So it's really good to have a composition that maybe, like, generally you play a composition that works on both points, but if you're not going to play a composition that works on both points, and really go for that first point strat or even that second point strat. Like, a lot of teams run a very standard composition on point A, but on point B they pull out something weird. If you're going to do those kind of swaps from point A to B, you need to do it without losing ult charge. Like, you want to lose as little ult charge as possible because you are so susceptible to a snowball. By winning this point A attack, unless you successfully hold off for a couple of minutes, the other team is going to get way more ult charge than you will.
Yeah.
Which means that they're going to come in with an ult advantage. So you want whatever you can get to ward that off, because the first fight on point B is always the hardest for the defending team to win. And it's always the best shot that the attacking team has at taking the point. So you really need to make that one come off cleanly as possible.
We basically did the same strat today during our script. The only change we did was we removed the Widowmaker and we put out a Zen, I do believe, instead. So we were
Yeah, that's
swapping
good.
one less person.
Yeah, Zenyatta's really good. The defensive ult is really good. That's one thing, well, for point A, specifically on 2CP maps. If you have a defensive ult and you don't know if you can win the fight, you just save it for point B. That way you've got something to weather that incoming ultimate storm.
Bastion.
They do have a Bastion.
You guys actually play this really well. Thumper looks really comfortable on the Orisa.
We need to get him in building here. I'm pulling.
Bastion's
I'm pulling out of the building.
Genji,
Okay.
Genji, go.
Genji down. Keep
Bastion
on
main,
going, keep
Bastion
on.
main. Get this Bastion. Nice.
Bastion.
Really good hook on the
You're
Bastion.
still Roadhog upside, up grind. Roadhog ground. Roadhog.
Let's go up there. Get him.
Kill this Roadhog. Kill
Bunny
this
up,
Roadhog.
bunny up.
I hooked the Roadhog. Get him.
Fuck.
Get a Roadhog.
Keep down.
There you go. Yeah,
Right,
Roadhog.
There's a
Right.
Ryan and a Roadhog in here. Like, come up here. Come up here.
No, Roadhog's dead.
We're
Come up here with me.
We're split.
It's really interesting how their thing
Alright,
decided
step
to
back
feed.
up main, step back up main.
Yeah, they should have run this way and jumped down that way. But if they're gonna give you 900 HP worth of hella ult, or in this case, like over 1,000 HP worth of ult, then
Step
take
back
it
up main.
by all means. You guys actually weren't that split there.
Yeah, put your shield like.
You were
Don't have
pretty
your base
okay.
up, let me know.
I gotta get a little heal up real quick.
I'm grabbing.
Hooked right. Get him. Nice.
Nice. New shield.
Really good hook.
I'm through to
Yeah,
grab.
Thumper looks
Grab.
really
They
comfortable
push
on
through.
this
Push through.
Orisa. Fabulous, you need to be playing here, where you can heal them, but see here, there. Your sight lines are getting cut off because you're rotating into this space. It's limiting, and it makes it a harder angle. You don't want to have to do a 180 turn and find your Widowmaker and then fly up and all that jazz. So you want to be playing consistently in that back corner. If you notice that they push that backside, you can just rotate.
Strat, if you drop down from there, let me know so I can know not to look for you to fly
I
to.
grabbed.
I really like that communication, by the way. That's really good.
Genji top right.
I can grab him. Tell me if he's up there again. I'll grab him.
I'm in the
Grabbing?
riptide right now.
We have Valk ready?
Oh, really good.
Right here.
Concussion.
Nice.
Blast.
Main. Roadhog.
Get Roadhog. Get Hog. There you go.
Got him.
Nice.
New shield. New shield.
Really good.
I'm gonna go
Walls.
for a
We have walls. We have walls.
Alright. When they walk in again, I'll grab.
Also,
Admirable for Hanamura. You guys don't necessarily have to follow it. There's a piece of wood in this doorway. There is no reason for the defending team to ever cross that. Ever. It's one of the nicest, most friendly chokes in the game to hide behind as a defender. The other team walks through choke, they put themselves in a bad position. You walk through choke, you put yourself in a bad position. And the point is
Magic.
back there. So just wait. Smagic's up here looking to put out some spam, do whatever. It's not necessary.
5 to
It's not.
Defense boost.
It's not going to make any difference if you push past choke. Not positively, anyways. I've never seen it make a positive difference. Push past choke.
They have Zarya now.
They might have shatter. They probably do.
I grab.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Genji, right side.
That is fantastic. That makes you really hard to hit.
Mercy
Trying
down,
to avoid.
Mercy
Feels
down.
bad.
Yeah, you actually are doing good things until this shatter comes in.
Genji down.
They actually tell you that you don't need to be down here.
There it was.
You
That's what I was
Mercy
trying
Which
to
you'll
avoid.
see soon.
Feels bad.
But
No
you guys
mercy.
knew they had it.
Run to my trap.
You knew they had it. It wasn't a surprise that it hit. You guys needed to be using tanks to bait the shatter. Because if he tries to run way past your tanks to drop a shatter onto squishy targets, then you have a good chance to kill him. But if you try to,
Yes.
I think we should. We should leave it. Come back.
like, if you group up behind the tanks, then
Hit
you're
Bastion.
screwed because it's an earth shatter. And that's how that works.
Pigeon Bastion. What do you want to set up? Down?
Wait,
And then
I'm
they
at-
got out.
On
They got
the
out.
right, on the right.
Should I go back to Roadhog?
Dude, Pappy actually plays a really clutch Winston, by the way.
You can just stay up here.
It's super
Yeah,
good.
we'll do Junkrat.
All I had to
Winston
do
up
was
top,
when
and
they
then,
walked into the choke, I just dropped on the supports. I didn't even help them out.
Yeah, it's a pretty bot-like Winston,
you wanna get-
not gonna lie. But it's still smart of you to actually, attack from the backside.
Nice. We're gonna pick. Let's go.
We're very split. Very split. Monkey, by yourself.
Yeah.
Got you?
It's not necessarily the most intelligent Winston in the world, but it is a good Winston nonetheless.
I just don't think we should all be grouped like that when they have Zarya. We should be in two different positions.
I don't think they have Gravity. They just switched to Zarya.
Okay.
They're going
Let's
main.
get down.
Um,
Coming main.
your call to set up came at a very poor time. Right? Like you're adjusting your positioning at a very poor time. You need to be really focused on winning this next team fight, and then you can adjust your position. That comes later. That comes after. Also, one of your key position goes super poorly is you position your Zen again far away from your team, and that gives Mercy a place to fly away to. It makes sure that you can hopefully stay in the fights. I mean, and then once your Zen has Transcendence, if you think that they have Grav, Zen can play with the team to counter the Graviton with the Transcendence, and Mercy play further away. But really, at the moment, you want to be splitting your Zen up, probably close to the spawn doors, so that if he gets pushed, he can just leave. And you want to not be messing with your setup too much because it leaves you in a poor position to deal with any pushes they make.
Tracer Discord?
Like, luckily your Orisa takes that whole spawn.
We're split.
Mercy down.
Magic, come to us. Magic, come to us.
Magic got a really good kill on the Mercy.
Left.
The Valkyrie was
Try not to invest any more else in this.
really not necessary there.
You're Annis, man.
I got one more res.
Annis, man, alone. I'm gonna go push her.
Take something.
Tracer on the right, Tracer on the right.
Tracer low.
She's okay. She's dead. Got her. Cool. Okay, I gotta reposition my shield. Pigeon, move like 2 feet back. Cool. You're out of it.
They have a Junkrat now.
Winston. Not just J Pappy, but Eddie Winston. Position yourself up here. You don't want to be using your cooldowns to get out.
I was actually just about to ask that.
If you position on the bridge, you can get poked, you can get prodded, the other team can come in and push you really hard. Position yourself up here. Not only does it give Mercy a very safe place to fly away to if need be, like if Magic gets pushed really hard, Mercy can just fly up here and let him die, as all Mercies do. But you have the better angle to jump in wherever their squishies are, and you can wait to see where that's at. You know, if they're pushing main, if they're pushing bottom right, if they're pushing bridge, if they're pushing top right, wherever they push, you can see that from up here and be like, and now they're separated, and jump in on the squishy targets. Separate the other team, open them up, your shield into a really annoying position. If you're sitting there, you're going to take a bunch of damage that you don't need to. You can't get to anybody. Like your Tesla cannon literally only has like this much range.
Yeah, if I was
So-
there, I expected them to go main, and so I would just poke.
Yeah.
Damn it! But then if they went top left, I would just jump up to top left because like it's just a couple people up there to help tank.
Yeah. Give them top left. The only thing you need to work, like, look at the other team comp. What's going to sit up there and be really annoying? There's only
Yeah.
one thing,
Yeah,
Anna.
I would.
And if you let them run top left and then drop down to point, because they have to drop down to point to win the game, then you can just jump the Anna by yourself. But if you go up there and try to tank this team, you're going to be shot by everybody on their team in the face. Which is
I
not
would,
good as
I would
Winston.
be sitting by Mercy if they were to go top left, like up there.
Yeah, but you don't need to feed them that ultra. It's not
around that-
necessary.
But I gotta like take though, right?
No, not as Winston. It's weird. The way you tank as Winston is weird, right? Your job as a tank isn't necessarily to take damage; it's to make space.
Yeah.
Reinhardt does that in a very in-your-face kind of way. Like he's just gonna walk up with a shield in your face, literally, and he has to take damage in order to make that space. Unless your team is retarded and can't shoot at the thing in front of them, you know, then he's gonna be taking damage as he pushes forward. That's how Reinhardt works. That's why he has a 2,000 HP shield in front of him. Winston, on the other hand, tries to make space between the supports and the tanks. He wants to create a gap between the two. So he goes in with a much lighter shield that's infinitely more annoying, and he puts himself between the support and the tanks. And the reason he has 500 HP is so that if the other team turns around and tries to do something about him, he's got time for his cooldown to come back up and get out. and he uses the shield to split off healing and to split off damage and to give himself more time for his cooldown to come back up if he gets pushed really hard. And that's how he creates space. So if the other team pushes into the space and their tanks drop on the point, you jump their Ana, you drop your shield, maybe, maybe not. You can create a ton of space. You can cut that off really easily. You know, by jumping up there, dropping your shield, suddenly the Genji and the Junkrat are not able to peel for their Ana. And if she tries to do anything fancy like sleeps or nades, you can just shield dance her. It's a free kill. You've created space. You've gotten a good frag. You've gotten value out of your character. And then you can run down and contest point or something like that. But your priority here is definitely going to be on that Ana on the high ground. Or on the Mercy if she does something really dumb or puts herself in a vulnerable
Wanna go
position.
opposite side, Pigeon, or are you good here?
We're gonna go high ground, so don't represent your shiny shield.
Okay, careful, because they might be close to Zarya. We don't think we should go high ground.
Yeah, they probably have grav now.
Let's go on the right then. Let's go on the right over here.
Are they
Can't
main?
get-
She's
Yeah,
looking
they
for
can make-
grab.
they can make-
Looking for grab. Looking for
Too
grab.
early on the Winston drop?
Yeah.
Way too early.
Yeah, Ryan's alone.
Kill that Ryan.
No.
I got him.
You can use the
Resin,
45 in
resin,
front of.
resin, resin.
Mercy's one.
That Orisa shield was really good.
Pigeon.
The bongos was
Got two.
really good.
No mercy, no mercy, no
Ultimately,
mercy.
Junkrat totally clutched that out.
Yeah, we got it. They're all dead. They're literally all dead.
Right.
It's a team kill.
You guys all like grouped up
You can hold this.
in this situation.
For grab.
All right, Fabulous. I'm gonna pick on you for a second.
Tap on point. Tap on point.
She's
Yeah,
looking
they
for
can make-
grabbing.
make- make-
Looking for
Uh,
grab.
all right, go back a little bit. All right, listen to the comms.
Are they
Can't
main?
get-
She's
Yeah,
looking
they
for
can make-
grabbing.
make-
Looking for grab. Looking for grab.
You call that they are looking for Graviton.
Wait for him to come in. I'll power boost you.
Ryan tap on point.
Yeah, Ryan's alone.
And watch what you do. I don't think I need to explain this any further. They have a Graviton. Let me fly close to all of my other squishy, high-value characters so they can grab all of us together, and we'll all just be really close friends stuck in a black hole of death. That's...
You can use the
Resin,
45
resin,
in
resin,
front of.
resin, resin.
I get that you want to res the Bastion,
Got her.
but
I got you, Pigeon.
They have no
Got two.
support.
Got two.
if it hadn't been for Smagic, you would have hardcore throughout that fight.
It's okay, it's okay. We can hold this. We can hold this.
Yeah, we got it.
Got it.
They're all dead. They're literally all dead. It's a team kill.
Nice work, guys.
So they use Genji Blade, Nano Boost, and Graviton.
Yes, sir.
They switch
Vision.
off their Zarya to Diva.
All right, Pigeon. We probably shouldn't be in the same place, kind of catch him by
Wait, did
surprise.
they
You wanna go somewhere
grab?
else?
Did they
Let's
use
go on high ground. Let's go on high ground.
Did they use Grav?
Good idea.
They use Grav.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know who asked that.
I don't know.
I was focused.
They
I was
were
focused
not
on killing
paying
Mercy, bro.
a lot of attention.
I was down there killing Mercy, bro.
Try to.
Hey, now that is a Winston doing his job. That is a Winston doing his job.
Yeah.
But there's this ultimate
I
sound.
have no idea what
Who's
they
gonna
were doing
contest
at that
point?
point.
Yeah, they all went and left. I was like looking through the window. I was like,
It's not a bad strat.
Prime also.
Where are they?
yeah, I look out.
I'm pretty sure there's a way for Moira to get across the gap, but I'm not totally sure. That would have been way better than a Lucio. Lucio is not so good.
We need to
The
contest
left side
Pigeon.
pushes at bats. This is Winston tanking. This is Winston tanking at his best. You have created so much space here. So much beautiful space for everybody to use. And because you were up top here for a little while, Fabulous is perfectly safe from anything that they want to do about it. If the Mercy wants to get out of this situation, she has to fly through Winston to get out of the situation. Even Winston can kill a Mercy like that. Even Winston can do that. Because, well, you just keep her at max range so that when she goes to fly through you, she has a long time that she's got to take your taser, and then when she starts to get further and further away, you just jump on her, and then she's dead. That's super easy. But this is Winston tanking at his best.
I forgot to contest though.
That's fine. That's not your job. You're a Winston. It's literally not your job to contest. You guys don't really have anybody whose job it is to contest. In all honesty, you kind of like Orisa can, but you risk losing your Bastion for that. Like Smagic would probably be the best person to just drop on a point to contest. in all honesty, it's okay to give him a tick
Did Poppy
if you win the fight decisively.
Let's get test. Yo, you just got a tick.
Oh,
Okay, got me.
It's not a big deal. You probably should have stayed on the Mercy, and again, just dropped Smagic on a point.
Healers, no healers.
Joker down, Joker load.
Fabulous, did you die?
Down, loose.
They're coming far right now.
Wow, they were right.
Shit.
You did.
We need contest. We need contest.
They have a really
you
good
can
dive.
dive to me and die.
So, healing pigeon, not so bad. Strats up here. Well, we'll see how this plays out.
Did Poppy has
Get test. Yo, you just got
Play
a
by
tick.
play. Okay. Cannot die with a Transcendence up. You just can't. Not unless you have Valkyrie. If you have Valkyrie, then sure. Take a death. You just Valk it, you res it, and then you trance everybody who's alive on full HP. That way you're coming in with as much healing and power as possible.
Yeah.
But you cannot afford to die with that. Because that actually costs you this fight right here.
Yeah, from I was just paying attention to the kill feed and I thought we were winning. I probably should have popped it though before I died.
Really, in that situation, right? It's okay to look at the kill feed, but it's more important to look at your player's health bars and your health bar, right? Just because you get a couple early kills does not necessarily mean that you've won. Largely because this bitch is in the game, but also because everybody has this cool thing called an ultimate that can totally swing a fight in either direction. Yours happens to be one of the best in the game. Period. Probably rank it in the top 3. So you need to be watching the health bars. Yeah, your people aren't looking super low or anything like that, but ideally you don't want your Mercy to fly into this clusterfuck. So you got to keep your Bastion up. You got to keep your Orisa up. And more importantly, you have to stay alive. You have to stay alive. You cannot die with trans, because on 2CP, if you die with Transcendence, you may not respawn in time for it to matter. Right? You want to Transcendence as many people as possible. You want to hit as many people with that healing as possible in the biggest burst of damage. And if you have to use your Transcendence to zoom Yata onto point and then sit there like a retard until your other respawns come through, you've pretty much just wasted that ult, because it's an ult you could have used in the previous team fight to not be in this situation. You use your ult here, totally different story. So that death is the one that actually kills it. And then Thumper goes, not Thumper, Pappy, my Winston buddy, goes back to contest this point, which is fine, because the Mercy Valked and you're not going to kill her.
Okay, got me.
My bad. Dude.
Yeah, that happens because Junkrat is a thing. D.Va got a bunch of finishing blows, because that's how D.Va works.
Coming back with Zenalt.
no healers.
Joker down, Joker load. They're down, Lucio.
That is
Mercy.
really
That
unfortunate.
you got trapped.
I didn't
Yeah,
see.
but see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody's benefiting from this Transcendent. Nobody at all. Like, you're buying time, and that's fantastic, but nobody's benefiting from that situation. And
What
you're
could
going
have
to
been
die as soon
done,
as it's over.
actually, what could have been done with that Transcendence is actually, if you just waited a bit, if we just gave the second tick, me and you could have gone together, and I could have used that trance to put some damage and probably take out at least 1 or 2 of them.
That is also super true, right? Like, this is a resource.
As long as they don't take the 3 tick, it's fine.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's something that everybody needs to keep in mind, right? Like, this is a resource, and you are spending it in conjunction with this resource, right? You can actually see them both listed in the top right. Like, you're spending one resource to gain more of the other. You want that time to go as low as possible, and however much percentage you have to spend to make that happen is fine, as long as it's not 100. Obviously, 0% is ideal, and so that's where people get confused, and they'll actually throw team fights that could have been won by being so determined to hold that 1 tick that they gotta get to like 32%, and then they all die, and nobody can respawn in time to contest the rest of the 67% that the other team needs to take. Whereas if you just wait and be patient, you can come back in and yeah, maybe they get halfway to their third tick, but as long as they don't get the whole thing, you're still winning the game.
Yeah.
Go, point.
Lucio and Junkrat are dead.
Got a couple
Mercy
pick.
low.
Shield. Thank you.
I died though.
Poor Thumper.
Nice played, buddy.
I couldn't shield
Genji
until I
won,
was
Genji
fully
won.
rezzed.
Genji's, yeah, go.
I do believe we actually managed to win this
You do actually manage to win this.
Let her
somehow.
Ult, what's ult?
He was up top.
Bastion
Let her-
ult
let her-
is how, really.
Let her live.
And also their Valk ran out.
One Tsunami.
I died.
Your Valk was not necessary. Your respawns came through together because you died together. And so he bought time for a large group of you to come back to point. I'm not sure how that happened. It's a really questionable thing. He probably does not play a lot of Lucio. Their Mercy is Mercy one trick, like 70 plus hours of nothing but Mercy.
He was going back from the edge from spawn.
Yeah,
And
well,
he just misses the wall ride.
yeah, like I said, he obviously does not play a lot of Lucio.
All of them
Because if
can
he
do
did, he
that.
wouldn't be dead. So,
Lucio and
you'd be
Junkrat.
lucky there.
Got a couple
Mercy
pick.
low.
Here, I actually messed up on the diva. Like, tell me if I should have killed her like a little bit forward. Hold on. Like when she gets the DMAX.
Shield.
Because like I didn't know their team was on the like watch. She'll no after she gets DMAXed again.
Thank you.
I died though.
Yeah, you should have killed her.
Played, buddy. No,
I
like
couldn't shield
watch
until I was
forward.
fully rezzed.
Genji's, yeah, go. Oh wait, is this? Oh yeah, here. So she DMAXed and I
Killed her.
watched.
Ult, what's ult?
Definitely kill her.
Let
Yeah,
her.
let her live.
I didn't know that.
Get the
No.
kills.
Bro.
One Tsunami.
Also, strat.
It's kind of weird how they decided to keep contesting without the full team.
They thought that they could get back in here. The Valkyrie essentially prevented them from being able to. I'm gonna pick on the Zenyatta positioning a little bit.
Do it.
This is another not meta positioning.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't play a lot of Zen as it is.
I
don't really know what
I
I'm
know,
supposed to be doing
and-
half the time.
That comes back to my first point of you want the people who are experienced on, what you're gonna run on second point to be playing the thing that's gonna be swapped off on first point. Right.
Play Zen a lot either, but I play him.
Yeah.
I'm
The biggest issue with Zen, especially with people who don't play much of him, is that he has so much damage potential. You just want to run in and start killing things, and you forget that A, you're really easy to kill, and B, you're a support, so everybody's going to want to kill you.
Yeah.
You're also one of the scariest heroes in the game. Like, if you had more HP as Zenyatta, you would be probably the ultimate DPS support tank thing. Like, Zenyatta, Roadhog, Moira at this point, terrifying heroes. Everybody wants them. Don't be in a spot where they can kill you.
I don't know.
We should
Come to
probably.
shield, come to shield, come to shield.
Winston, there you go.
No more
Let's
Valk.
go,
No more
Right,
Valk.
right.
Yep.
Lucio.
Yes, it
Lucio
is.
behind.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
I remember that.
Kill the Junkrat.
They're. I don't understand
I
this.
think they were jumping off because they.
Mercy and Lucio. Not even a big jump, dude. You can make it a soldier. Mercy can fly.
I think
Lucio can run on the walls, dude.
Lucio accidentally died, and then Mercy jumped off because she. Yeah.
That's more understandable. But
Right.
Lucio.
Lucio
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, they were trying to On the retreat right, at that kill the point to Junkrat. have the
Mercy
reset for the
resets
last
here.
push.
Can.
We need to reposition. We
They
need
still
to
got a bunch of people here, though.
back again.
okay.
Like, what we should
Like,
do
they're still
Yeah.
feeding. They try to get out. One of them gets out.
Watch out.
Guys, we need to reposition. There's 25 seconds. Like, we need a good defensive position.
They have one
We
more
got tired. We got tired.
What else are we close
Let's
to?
go rear. Let's go rear because we got
Alt
trapped.
chat.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh,
it's okay.
we needed that trap.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're going under on the left. Under on the left.
Okay.
I'm stunning
You're
them.
not in bubble. You're not in bubble. You're kind of out of it.
Alright. Pappy,
Yes.
this is where you want to be. You don't want to be behind Mercy because she'll just fly away from you. It won't take that much. You want to be in between her and her flyaway points. So you want to be in here, especially because after you kill Mercy, you can just turn around and all these other fat people. But your jump is a little short.
Mercy,
Mercy. Nice.
You do a good job of chasing her down, though. The other team commits so hard to the Bastion that everybody else kills the other team. Pigeon, are you a Bastion main? Out of curiosity.
I used to be.
I noticed that you played a lot of them.
Death ball.
It's a good thing we had that plan pre-made.
But
Pigeon,
yeah,
were you a GM Mercy?
We keep on going
yeah.
without knowing
I'm also I'm a Mercy 1J. It came down from the fact that I started feeling, because in first season I was Bastion main.
Yeah.
In my 6th deck. After that, I began flexing, so I became a Reinhardt and Mercy main only. Because
Welcome to season 3.
So we're gonna go right.
And after that, I couldn't keep up my Reinhardt, so I had to keep on with Mercy because I kept flaming, which is 70% win rate.
We
Wow.
can go all in with-
So I just kept playing Mercy, and it never stopped
That's all.
We'll try this. If
I
it's
feel
not-
until
really
it was
bad
getting
for you.
too late.
We got 4 minutes.
It's okay. People still like healer. People don't like you, but they appreciate the healing, so they don't really complain.
On the right.
Reaper or like a flanking or tracer to kind of like get him off of us a little bit,
We need soldier.
The soldier sounds good.
or a soldier. Yeah.
Soldier,
Reaper's
We don't have much
just
longer.
our all-in choice.
Remember, we're going through.
But yeah, I really do
directly on
keep loving Bastion, especially when like this team kept running Bastion no matter what.
Yeah, I
After
know,
a
it's
certain
like-
point, and
Yeah.
We only have
They had a Bastion main, and they were banking really heavily on it. So you're like, challenge accepted.
Oh, okay. Happy,
we saw who was the better Bastion main.
Yeah, not the one in 4000 SR.
Speed boost us when we're at the choke to get into the building.
We're going right, correct?
Alright,
I think that the scrims actually kind of turned into a pissing contest between the Bastion players,
Bubble you up here.
in all honesty. But
I'm gonna bounce out, guys. Thanks for the
Into building.
coaching, though. That's really good.
no problem, man.
See, okay, this guy.
Yeah.
Peace, guys.
This is not good.
No mercy, no mercy.
We got speed.
Right now.
This is died. There's a fucking roadblock. That's what happened.
Into building.
Go, guys.
You, person. This is not your objective. This is not where you're trying to go. Right? The Rhino is attempting to make space here. Means that your team, especially since you went right, needs to be hugging this wall and wrapping into there as fast as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bubble a little bit early. Want to make sure he's taking some damage. Want to let him get under pressure before you bubble. And then you want to follow him. And you want to be quick about it because he ultimately wants to go this way too. He does not want to come back out here. So you need to get there quickly so that he can follow up. Zarya pulls his shield early, which gives the other team's Reinhardt an opportunity to pin. And she's... I don't know what she's doing.
I'm in Narnia.
Yeah.
Like, basically.
It's nice in Narnia. It's really pretty.
No,
but
it wasn't pretty.
it's not very useful for your Reinhardt. And your team is trying to run through here,
We got speed. Speed.
Into building.
which happens fairly successfully. You actually get through, which is impressive. But because the shield was early,
Yeah.
this man dies. Also, because of that thing, the other team's comp is AIDS. I don't like the other team. I like this.
I got back.
No mercy, no mercy,
But
no
yeah,
mercy.
he's dead. And then you do this. I don't know why you do this.
I don't know why either, man. I'm losing my mind. Let's be
Pretty
real
accurate.
here.
That is pretty accurate. I don't know how Fabulous dies either. What does Fabulous do?
I
Yeah,
believe he
with
wasn't
them.
and got killed by random damage. Oh, he got
No,
pulled off
you-
by Orisa.
Somebody. I wish I had a better angle of this.
I got back.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Right now,
Yeah.
below.
That is unfortunate.
But yeah, Fabulous got pulled by the result.
Oh, even spotted.
They can't come up here. We're safe.
Yeah, not sure what Strat was doing there.
Yeah, me neither.
Get it. Yo,
What a
you
guy.
guys should push now.
We should push into them. Yeah.
Yeah, I can come support you. I can come support you. Here, go with the choke. I got.
This is interesting. The other team actually kind of throws this, right? Like, you're in a good position up here. And because of their team composition, they can't go kill you without risking losing the front line. I mean, they kind of could, but not really. Their damage output is basically all right here, and it's sitting on a rock. So they're kind of stuck with their bastion. But because they stay up here and try to keep holding the choke, well, first of all, they're not shielding their bastion. Retarded. Like, next level dumb. And they're not shielding their supports, which is also retarded. And they're not protecting the point. Also retarded. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And the Reinhardt's holding up his shield inside of an Orisa shield, so they're both wasting their shields. It's like, they should have just come back here and sat on the point like a bunch of fat people, because that's what they are. And then waited so that they could win that team fight and set back up the way they wanted to. Because they really don't have a way to deal with the people who are in this space. And so they need to be back on point so that everything is in front of these big red things that they're supposed to be hiding behind, but they're not.
Go through choke. Go through
I'm
choke.
trying.
And yeah.
Go through choke. Go through
I'm
choke.
trying.
Do you still have a speed boost?
I was up there with Junkrat in the top left.
Okay.
So go through choke. Go through
I'm
choke.
trying.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Thumper just kind of gets
Oh, okay.
That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to avoid.
poor Thumper.
Go to
That's a clutch Zarya shield, by the way.
You
I did
tire.
something.
Come right.
Orisa below. Orisa below. Never mind.
Your shield timings are really
Follow
good,
top.
but
Yeah, there we go. Follow.
Everything else not
Alright,
so
we're on
much.
top. Me and Pigeon can flank. Me and Pigeon can flank.
it's a really good tire.
Pigeon, you and me. Flank. Go.
Yeah, and so this push happens because the other team isn't hiding on point like bitches. They really should have been. It was a really clutch pin on the Bastion. I don't know what got shattered there, in all honesty, but something got shattered there. This is an absolute
Run chop.
AIDS level mess of a team fight, but because this guy died, that Bastion, there's like literally nothing they can do about you guys. They have no DPS, and so it's fine that you guys are in a clusterfuck because there's no way to kill you because they put everything onto that Bastion and then failed to protect him because they stood in dumb positions.
Watch this Mercy as we win this. Nice, guys. She's hiding up there.
Listen,
This is actually really funny.
I thought I saw something, and I did.
Where are we going?
Top ground. Top ground.
What is she
Thinking with
doing?
Bastion, be careful.
How close are you
Oh,
tired?
somebody's up here.
She has to get up to the top so that she can float across to the other side. If she can't, like if she's not on top, she won't make the jump.
Like that little.
She was actually still there.
She just
They're high
flew
ground.
across. Bro. What if we got
How close
her?
are we to? How close are we to tired?
20.
She was like, yeah, this is not good, but she knew that you guys knew where they were. It's a really good shield. The Reinhardt does a dumb thing.
Wait that out. Wait that out.
I have grav.
They're just in a bad spot.
Let's get high ground while they're
Okay.
Let's get high ground while they're
Like, the next 4 minutes of this are so emotionally frustrating for me. I don't know if I can watch.
I think I already know some of the things you're going to talk about.
Like, you're talking about a tire and a gravity,
Yeah.
and you want to make this happen. So, after I think 2 team fights, 2 wipes of your team, while you have 4 ultimate, shouldn't. Like, look at this shit. It's that
Can we take a look at
Yeah,
that Ryan?
versus this.
What's that Ryan doing?
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
they have a Bastion.
Well, that's lovely, right? You have a good team composition. Pigeon, where is a Bastion going to set up on this point? Where does he want to be?
Either on the ground or next to the point.
Mm-hmm. And so you can start a Riptire, and you can run a Zarya through here, and you go look at them and go, aha! And then you can graviton them all together and then Riptire it.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Sounds like a
No.
great idea.
No, actually, what happens is somebody's calling to grab from the bridge and tire from the bridge. Everybody's confused. Because I have a feeling.
What
That the
could have
person-
been done is actually just go under here. We grab from under. We get the Riptire coming from here and
This is-
kill them.
Well, that's-
Which makes
that's fine,
Sebastian
but-
unable to kill it.
Yeah. There's just a lot of miscommunication, I think.
This is an unnecessarily long walk for a Zarya when Graviton is a projectile.
The problem is if we start it right now, the Bastion can take down the Riptire because we have no protection from it. If we have a Diva who
Well-
can defense matrix the tire, it will be fine.
Not necessary. You start your tire right now. You have your Zarya down here, right? The tire starts, Bastion's going to be looking for it. Your Zarya grabs from down here, right there. You can just throw it into the floor and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Your tire can do that because the tire is way faster than a Zarya. I don't know if it's a better leg workout or like, you know, a good diet plan, but the tire's got the movement speed that Zarya just doesn't. You know, she's all weightlifting. She's more of a power thing. You know, it's like one and done. She's not going to cover that distance very well. So you can just distance grab this. They don't have a Diva, right? Bastion's going to be sitting right behind this shield. Anna's sitting right behind the shield. If you go main, you can see that. And so that would be really easy to pull off.
Yeah.
What actually happens is that you lose like 2 team fights. I'm not sure how many ults you waste. You guys run out here really quickly in some kind of frenzied panic, like a bunch of parents right before Christmas or something. And you throw your Graviton right here. And you get a Reinhardt.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't want to watch
And then,
that.
and then you Riptire that. I don't want to watch that either.
No, I don't want to watch that.
Because you just run out and blindly throw it into the hallway. And it's
I
a good
really
shot,
did.
don't get me wrong. It's a super nice dunk. But the other team was literally just running away at that point. And the Reinhardt was up here by himself. And you could have just run in and beat him to death, in all honesty. But you Riptire, and then you just run and throw the grab. And then you realize that there's nobody there. And then you're like, oh, shit.
It was a big.
And the
feels
tire
bad
comes
for me.
in and finds the grab and it blows it up. And then Smagic is like, there was nothing in that grab. Huh. Wonder where everybody's at. And then we'll see what happens after that. But this whole ultimate play, like this guy has an ult,
Just let it play out. Just let
and
it play out.
this guy has an ult.
I don't want to.
You want to make good stuff happen with those ults, right? Now, I'm assuming that Smagic's job as a Junkrat is to know how to use his ult. Am I right? Like, would you know how to do that as a Junkrat? Do you know how to get a tire to a Graviton? Are you good at that, Smagic? That's what I want to know. I'm assuming that he would say yes if he was paying it.
He just
Magic.
sniffed. Does that count?
So, and Strat, I'm pretty sure that you can throw a Graviton, right? Do you know how to do that?
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I'm fairly certain that you can throw some pretty clutch Gravitons.
Trust
I've seen
me.
some fat ones. So,
I get dunks, dude.
yeah, you
Not
got a dunk
always.
on this Reinhardt today.
Hell yeah!
That man didn't know what happened. All of a sudden, his feet weren't on the ground. He was like, I'm not moving. The hell?
Exactly.
What's going on? And then he was like, well, this is interesting. It's another very not meta thing. So, you guys should coordinate how to do this. Because you know how. Because that's your job. Because you play Zarya and Junkrat. The Thumper has a nice idea. And that's a fantastic thing. Right? But as a shot caller, Thumper's job is to say, hey, let's grab Riptire these bitches. Obviously, we want the Bastion at Mercy. And then you guys' job is to make that happen because you're competent players who know your jobs and know how to do your jobs. That is how shot calling should be done. Shot calling, when you try to over micromanage people, makes you suck at your job and it makes them suck at their jobs because you're not focused on what you should be doing and they're having to listen to your calls and try and do what you're telling them to do, and they're not able to just play the hero properly. So, over micromanagement is not good. Actually, I'm going to attempt to skip ahead a couple minutes. Let's see if we can get past this
Please.
awful experience
Like if I went.
right there.
I do want to see the dunk. It was a nice shot right in that doorway.
Magna hook.
Like where the hawk is.
If
right
only
now,
all
on the
6 of them
bridge.
were there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
on the top bridge, and then the rest of us go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can take the bridge from Roadhog.
Let's do
Take the
it.
bridge
Yeah.
from Roadhog and then grab entire from there.
How go?
And
How
the rest
go?
of us go top.
He's
Don't go too
Alright.
far.
I'm putting my
Reinhardt.
What is Fabulous doing? I don't know. Why did you die there?
How go?
And the
How
rest
go?
of us go top.
fat shatter.
You are healing Lucio as he charges a Roadhog. I want you to consider your life choices.
Dedicated.
Well, your Reinhardt, your front line, is back here. And this Lucio wants this Roadhog's ass.
Oh, we were all going.
Probably the nipples.
Were we
Right?
not
Like, I'm
all-
not gonna lie, Roadhog's got that nice chest that Lucio is all about. I mean, skinny black dudes are always into thick white girls, right?
Call us to
So-
on the bridge. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
and
you
you
guys-
all
guys
like,
stop
will really commit to getting this Roadhog off the bridge. There's a hero that's good at pushing people backwards. There's an arrow pointing at him right now. But instead, this Lucio is like, it's fine for Lucio to go out here. That is okay. Right? Like a Lucio can go out here and maybe boop him or something. That's okay. If you're a competent Lucio, you can do stupid shit and get away with it. That's what playing
You could
Lucio
at
is
least
all about.
have wall righted.
That's also very true. But instead, you
Watch
speed
this
boost your
run.
Mercy into this position, and Fabulous is like, the Roadhog!
I'm trying to get this right away.
And there's a Bastion that's like,
This line's coming,
Mercy!
line's coming to fucking swing at our ass. Look at us.
I mean, yeah, Reinhardt is all about the Superman shatters. I mean,
slam
he is
dunk
in
on us.
position. The hammer is about to be dropped. He watched Thor 5 times in the weekend, okay? On opening weekend, he went out there and he watched that shit a lot, you know? The whole Thor versus Captain America thing. He's got that image on his wall, and he is ready.
Oh!
And your effort is super valiant, dude. It is really valiant.
I tried to move him away, dude.
Be on this wall, booping that way.
Tried to move him away.
I know, but you weren't on the wall, so you just gotta boop him up. And then you all group up really nicely. And your Reinhardt is doing this. Because honestly, he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Because if I were Reinhardt, I wouldn't know what the hell is going on. And
I still
And
thought we were getting that Roadhog.
Strat's like, oh shit, Superman's on our backline. He's like, Thor showed up. God, I need to do something with my life. So Strat turns around and he's trying, man. He's trying. Like I said, Zari doesn't cover distance quickly.
I'm done.
And so he dies and your team dies and dude, Reinhardt is shielding this hallway, man. Like he has got this shit on lock. In case they flank, you know? He's got that covered. And then Thumper goes, oh, I need to go.
I know what I'm talking about.
And he actually gets out.
Nice.
'Cause he was like one of 3 people who didn't do something really crazy dumb. Him and Pigeon. Pigeon was also pretty smart and stayed back there. Because he doesn't need to run after a Roadhog. He can just chill out over here. But
All the way on the block.
he got shattered and he's squishy, so he had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you covered the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he had that flank down. That Bastion was not going to come in, man.
to get that Bastion distracted.
Do you want me to go on Bastion and we can try to set up on the?
Let's try this plan
Bastion
that we just set up for.
Yeah, just tie
Okay,
her
okay.
over the top, and then we go in at the same time.
Yeah, grab and tie her over the top from the side on bridge, and then the rest of us go through.
Oh, this is where it happens. The other team has figured out that you've got Graviton by now. I'm pretty sure this is where it happens.
I'll try.
Yeah, look at this dunk.
Good luck.
They're like, oh wait, they probably have Graviton.
This dunk right here.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Grab them.
Grab that.
We're so
Perfect
ready.
angle, 900 IQ calculated.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
Watch this. Right in the doorway.
Let's do it.
hog
You ready?
dropped. I'm going.
And fuck Reinhardt.
Grab.
Grabbed.
Dude, look at that. Perfect. Perfect.
Reinhardt's just kind of sitting there like,
I got it right in
Alright.
the doorway.
Grab.
It was a fat
It
grab.
took all the time in the world to figure out that they were there. And you're all like, yeah, I get the grab. And Tyre gets the grab, and Smagic's like, wait a second. That's a really empty kill feed.
Go on.
Now, luckily, the Mercy does a dumb thing, and she reses the Reinhardt, and that puts her in the hallway, which is really stupid. She should not have done that,
Bastion.
because the Junkrat would have killed her, if nothing else.
No more res.
What?
Oh, Smagic.
That was unlucky.
Smagic.
No more res. No more res.
Smagic.
You're going. You're off.
No more res. No more res. No more res.
Smagic. That is. Man, this Reinhardt is a hero.
I'm pinned. Wow, I threw them.
He has been watching the Marvel movies. That's all I'm gonna say.
Kabasha.
You guys are doing good. You guys are doing well.
Bastion.
That was an interesting shadow.
Wow, I threw them.
This is another not meta play. Watch this. Thumper.
Kabasha.
Oh my gosh.
There's no more Roadhog ult. No, there's
Bastion's
a
right
Roadhog
behind
here,
him.
dude. There's a Roadhog here, but the ult is done, and he's still freaking out over it, and
Oh god.
yeah.
He kills him with it. Oh god.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
He had 1
Right.
HP. Why, Thumper?
Like, Fabulous
around.
just whipped out his pistol.
Look at that. Look, watch me. I'm having such a struggle with this fucking Bastion. I'm walking
Dude,
around.
you are. Dude, I want to tell
I'm
you
just
why you're having a
spamming down.
struggle with this Bastion. I wanna enlighten you.
Anna's just healing up. I'm just trying to fucking kill the Bastion. I'm going for the Bastion. I want to.
You're committed. You're really committed. Dude, Strat, you have been committed to this play
I've been
From
waiting my
the
whole life.
first moment. And J Pappy, like, you're having such a hard time here, dude. You're really,
Doing good.
you're a Lucio.
I'm going
I
for
get
the
it.
Bastion.
Guys,
Dude, you could have doinked this Ana and booped
I
her.
didn't
Just
know.
one shot in the blink.
Wait,
This Ana's
Strat was going on her. Strat was on her, dude.
No,
That was-
Strat was on the Bastion.
That Bastion is mine.
How did she just
Every-
take damage?
The Ana could have been punched. She could have been
Tickled.
tickled on. Strat, if you stare at her really, really hard, she will die. One of those like really intense, angry girlfriend kind of glares, where it's like you know you did something wrong, but she won't admit that you did something wrong.
Oh
If
my
you give her
God.
one of those looks, she just cease to exist.
Honest one.
And you guys are just you were like Fabulous is going after this Mercy. The two of you guys are riding this Bastion. He's like,
I got it.
360 degrees of movement,
It's over.
I got charged. Oh god.
and then this Reinhardt doesn't miss a pin ever.
Reinhardt.
I'm halfway to another grav.
You get like 60% of a grav out of the fact that you spent that whole time shooting a Bastion,
You got
True.
who was healing himself while being pocketed by an Ana.
We can set up on our Is ground, we is can this take out is the the Roadhog. next push when we win?
Yeah, but we
Don't
gotta
go
push
over
him
it.
out.
So
Yes.
you don't want to Because take I
Yes,
just
it
want to
is,
point out that
because
we
you
just
went
used like
Bastion
6 ultimate. Didn't take it.
Since I is all.
You did use 6 ults and you didn't take it.
I can try to speed
Yeah, and then we switch out and it just worked out.
Zarya could beat that.
It does, because Pigeon is a pro Bastion.
Okay. Just set up over
Indeed.
here.
Confirmed, you're the next color Bastion.
We can slowly take this.
Mercy hug.
Your Mercy's gone. Your Mercy's dead.
Your Mercy is not dead because I'm sure that there was a clutch Zarya shield in there somewhere.
No,
That's right, dude.
No, he just sucked.
Shield up.
Lucio. No, Lucio. I amped her.
Shield
No,
up.
I amped the Mercy. I have she heals, I think.
I don't know,
Nice.
but this is interesting.
I did.
Just pretend. it
No,
was,
Fabulous.
okay?
I amped you, so I saved you.
You should have died, except that they have no damage. Their damage is sitting right here. And the only other damage they have is the Roadhog.
He was getting raped. He's like 1 HP and I amped him.
So it's just like the Roadhog has to kill you, or nobody's gonna kill you. And then the Orisa shield goes down right as you guys set up, which is really, really bad on her part. And then the Reinhardt isn't shielding.
Fucking idiot. He's focused on his charges, dude.
Hug behind, hug. Tanks behind, tanks behind.
How?
And then that, which is the fattest shatter I've seen in a really long time, and it just literally sweeps the screen. Like,
One
there's-
second we were there, 1 second we were gone.
We're all gone.
like
Tanks behind,
there's a team,
Never not there.
and then there's
We just
not a team.
fucking-
Like Reinhardt was like, "Hold up, let me show you guys a magic trick," and I was like,
He's off, he's off. Nice, let's go. Go, go, go.
Point, go point.
Fabulous. What you doing?
"This guy is on the other team. This guy is on the other team. This guy is on the other team. This guy is on the other team." Damn it, Smagic's gonna carry with that pro resurrection. Right? Like, if anything happens, Smagic has got this. He'll just bring him back up. He erases mistakes, right? That's what Junkrat does, isn't it?
Nice, let's go. Go, go,
Mercy's super expendable anyways. It's not important. It's okay.
Go point.
No mercy, no mercy, no
Nice,
mercy.
nice, nice.
Arisa down here. Arisa alone. Get Arisa.
Pigeon, where you
Got
still
through, got through.
Go to the point. Go to
I
the
mean,
point.
admittedly, Smagic does super carry, which is awesome.
Kill Bastion,
Nice,
there you go.
nice.
Easy, bro.
But he could have been rezzed.
Nice strat. That was a great strat.
Pigeon, my shield was like an.
That's another pro graviton.
Do you see that
I want
right in the
everybody
corner?
to take notes.
That's where it should have been with the Bastion and the Ana.
Right in the corner. It was just like a heads up for next time. So
I hope that you
gonna
guys are writing this down, by the way. Like, that's how you graph. Right
write it
there.
down. Take notes.
Pigeon, my shield was like an inch covered.
Bad moment.
This play of the game, by
He
the
just
way.
sits there. He doesn't even move his cursor.
This, alright, I'm actually gonna, like, this reminds me of something that I've seen recently. Where
Junkrat holding left or M1.
It's an animation. You guys will find it funny later, I'm sure. I'm just gonna put it in general.
Is that
But
the one
yeah.
from Carbot Animation?
It is, actually. That is exactly what happens right here.
Played.
That is the same Bastion play of the game.
Look at this.
Bastion,
God.
Such a feels bad moment.
he got 6 kills. Maybe even 7, actually, with the resurrection.
Jeez.
That was a pro play of the game. I just want everybody to appreciate it. Something for you specifically to take notes on, Pigeon. Like, that is how you play Bastion. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
Starting instantly.
this is the most interesting spawn I've ever had as a camera.
In the ground.
Not enough players.
Not in the ground.
You're in the
Not on
wall.
the ground. I'm in a wall.
Ooh. You can see through the ground though.
I can, actually. I have
Look at that.
powers the likes of which you have never experienced.
Comp.
That's amazing.
I just like how you turn slowly around,
Into
watching the
I-
world,
You're like, where am I?
trying to go back, but you cannot. Go
I
back
just wanted to make sure.
Go around, fully around.
I was like, okay. So that's the thing. You know, I have time. I get to appreciate the local
With free purse magic?
Oh, then you can pick your
architecture.
I don't know if we would be the best.
Alright, I'm thinking, fuck, I mean, we're gonna need the Mercy.
You can do whatever. I can play Mercy or anything.
I hate Mercy.
I'll play her then.
Actually, in that composition, for what we're going to
Right.
do, Aurora can be better than Mercy.
Right, because we're gonna be clump healing.
Truth be told, I
gonna-
fucking
I
hate
can't
We
play
all
Bastion.
get
Moira.
to
Yeah.
clump here,
I
healing,
don't know about
and
all of
if
them.
you throw out the orbits will do poke damage to the Bastion, so we won't be like 100% time.
That's good.
shooting.
I don't think the Lucio is necessary, but
Let's go Zarya.
you know,
We won't even be using it. So.
Zarya.
Dude,
Yeah.
Just tell me if you're.
I feel like my Zarya is becoming a meme at this point. Like you see me pick Zarya and it's like, oh god, he's back.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know.
we're wrapping.
you know, honestly, I watched this whole thing, and
taking high
one of my
ground.
mental notes was
Yes.
Strat's got a pretty good Zarya.
No,
Yeah. I
Strat's
was
got
like,
a pretty
Strat's
good
got a pretty good Zarya.
dunk. Got a
But-
dunk, dude.
You know,
You
like
can go from low
other
to
than
top, you
that
have to go top.
super dope graviton on the Reinhardt,
You know.
your 5 and 4-man grabs were just ultra disappointing. Like really,
You're right.
really.
Yeah, they have jungle.
You're right.
Anything more than a Reinhardt or a Lucio by themselves is
Alright,
just
from lower, directly top.
That's what I was telling myself.
not right. Yeah, and you, so
I
you
was
fix
like-
that issue,
Yeah, I was like, I'm throwing this, dude.
and some random positioning.
Keep close to Reinhardt. Let's go.
It's whatever, you know.
Top, top.
What?
Did you get
I
pinned?
was
Pigeon.
behind the wall.
Behind.
Pigeon gets to experience.
You didn't see it. I was behind the
There's
wall.
a dude, and then there's not a dude. There's a dude, and then there's not a dude. Man,
Dude, what?
This is
this Reinhardt is just like
Top, top.
What?
all up in your
Chargers.
shit.
Did you get pinned?
Behind. He was in front of the wall.
Thumper, not as good. Thumper has not mastered that art of the charge quite in the same way.
Okay, get
You
out.
guys
Down.
are feeding.
Yeah, they're in triple
Yeah. You should have jumped off the map a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I
As soon as Thumper did his, you know,
You got pinned.
Superman attempt and it didn't work, that's when everybody goes, "Let's jump off the map."
Got it too late.
They have a McCree now.
Yeah, I was gonna go Pharaoh. What the fuck? There we go. Alright. We're doing the same thing? Same thing.
That guy, you're unmuted. Your stuff's really loud, man.
Let's go.
You're good.
Ryan.
Ryan's low. Ryan's half. Ryan's
Fat
half.
shatter. Holy
That's
crap.
bad. That's a
Ryan's half.
The Ryan actually
Ryan's
carried.
half. Ryan's half.
Dude, where did we go?
Loud, man.
All right, so
You're good.
there's that character right there, and then Reinhardt just does, well, whatever they want. Reinhardt's like,
You're good.
okay,
Ryan.
the other team is up here, holding this position, so your shield needs to be blocking these people. There's a Junkrat here. There's an Ana here. There's that motherfucker who does what they want to do. We'll see that in a second.
Ryan.
And yeah, they're like, oh,
Ryan's low.
boom. There's
I feel like if we were gonna go out, we should have just went straight on the point.
Yeah, that would have been awesome if you guys had run on a point and then shielded against the other team. And
Yeah.
I just
That would've
believe
been
we were
one.
too much in mentality that we absolutely thought that they would have a bastion on the high ground.
yeah,
That
Well, I
we need
mean-
to take the high ground no matter what through
Yeah.
that choke.
after 15 seconds, you can look at the other team's composition by pushing tab.
Yeah, but we're
And
kind of
you know where
retarded.
they're set up. Yeah, that's one way to put it. You know where they're set up, so you need to adapt to that, right? Like your plan is to get on this high ground back here, and that's actually not a bad idea. There are better ways to make that happen. Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
That is true. Yeah. But you guys could have. That's not what I want. You guys could have run this way and gone up to high ground a different way. You know, really, you just want your soldier on high ground versus a McCree.
We
I'd take
could have
that.
actually just hold the fucking point.
You could have. You could have
Just
done
hold
that
the
too
idea
because
in
you've
the
got.
payload and in the small like.
Yeah.
Like we just go over here and we can just fucking hold it, and if they drop out the high ground, we just send in the Reaper.
Pretty much. You just hold point like that. But you guys are determined to do this, and Reinhardt's going to do that.
That feels bad.
I'm surprised he didn't get more kill with that charge.
So close to Death Blossom.
I am too. Like, you should have all ended up off the map.
Way to get him, Halter.
Reinhardt ended up off the map.
Alright, let's go top. They're waiting for us down.
Ana ended up off the map. Alden didn't want them to be lonely, so he went off the map.
Are we close to anything?
Maybe we should just go main.
We can go main.
You should try to predict that Reinhardt like when he drops and charge him.
We're just
Let's just go main. Let's
I'm
go
just
main.
trying to block the shatter.
Go main.
Honestly.
Well, you know how he
Makes me
drops
shield.
every time when we go bottom.
Make it low.
Yo, Brian's by himself on point. I'm gonna die.
Like,
You're sorry, Bubbles?
damn,
Probably.
Yeah, those are super important.
Blackout moment.
This was a lost team fight when you went into it, by the way. I want you to know that.
Brian's by.
Because your ult economy is way worse than theirs
Yo, Brian's by.
at the moment. They had Tyre and Diva Bomb, and they're building up towards a Valkyrie. So
like,
this, as a dry push,
every time.
is good. It's useful for you guys to be aware that it's a dry push. It's magic that bubble was not too.
Alright, do you want to switch to dive?
Yeah.
And dive
Yeah, you could have gotten out there probably, but that's not important.
Except Grav though.
Wait, let's switch dive. You can keep graph if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll grab this fight. If we don't take it, I guess.
Scared Ted because we switch off our combo with Graph at the same time.
Sit up top, and then we can dive from the opposite.
You want to up top?
That's true.
Yeah, we can dive.
Okay.
But Death Blossom isn't a good combo with Grav. Partly because you can block most of it with the Reinhardt shield pretty easily, but also because they have the
Move
Diva.
around, Ready? Going.
Fair enough.
It's good with the Shatter. It's really good with the Shatter, but not so much with anything else. Okay, your swap to dive actually saves you guys super hard here.
I'm going for Ana. Ready?
Now, this is a little bit retarded. You guys get really lucky.
Look at that McCree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's-
him instead of Ana.
and he has 200 HP and no self heal.
Now what damage boost did you?
Anyways, you guys run in a hallway versus a Junkrat and a Reinhardt, and you're lucky that they're not in position, or you would have gotten burned super fast. And then, because you're running dive,
I can't make that dash.
half your team isn't here when the Reinhardt does his thing that he always does. And Fabulous is in a good position.
I don't think I'm gonna get Grav.
I'm playing Mercy.
Oh, the Mercy is in a good position.
If you can res me, I have Grav.
And Pigeon gets a huge visor.
If you can res me, I have Grav.
Nice pigeon.
Baby Diva.
Yeah, Pigeon gets a really good visor.
Reinhardt low.
And your Valkyrie kind of carries that too.
Sit down McCree. Any healing on point?
The enemy
you should've-
Valkyrie.
I'm down.
It's not ours.
Totally died. You guys Valkyrie too.
Yeah, both of us.
Okay, never mind.
Like, you guys did better than you should have.
We have Grav. We can do this.
Um,
Just stop Grav.
but yeah, that it's not the push you want to make.
They're just completely like scattered in every
Versus
direction.
this
Like,
team.
It's gonna be hard to hit a good grab.
Yeah.
And you drop the Lucio,
Oh, you don't have to hit all of them. You gotta get.
which
two
is
to
super
win.
important because you don't need a Lucio here.
I don't know how the fuck we took this point, dude.
I got a fat Grav. Watch this shit.
Oh, okay.
Strat did the best thing that he's ever done.
Best thing I've
In
ever
this
done on
game.
Zarya.
There goes Reinhardt.
Just
Ignored his team.
fat. I said, fuck you guys. I'm out
You're
of
just
here.
up there.
Literally,
we're
I
getting
said,
fucked
fuck
by
you
the
guys.
Strat's like, I'm gonna carry. Reinhardt's dead, thank God, because you have a Zenyatta, not a Lucio.
They have no they have no tank. No tank.
And
Look at
and
that.
a tank, but
I can
Got two
rescue.
of them.
Damn.
Strat puts in work out there
That's right.
and carries that and dies for the cause. And
Noble
that's how you
sacrifice.
won.
Alright,
That is how you won, because Strat went balls deep for a pro graviton,
I'm forced
Right.
to be here.
and he made sure that everything important in it died.
Then I switched.
Just right here, we should just leave the Zen on point, and everyone should go ahead and kill. Try to stagger them.
Dude, that was actually close to
I
C9.
was nervous. You guys were at the edge.
Now the Pro Diva comes
we
out.
should
Yep.
set up
You just got your tank back, you just got your Diva back.
like
You could push up into that, but you're probably going to get killed because they're regrouped.
Versus
So
marked.
Event tunnel. Event
Yeah,
tunnel.
you can't push up in that situation because you don't have your tanks, and then this, you just...
Push back, push back. She's half.
She's marked. Mercy's marked.
The dead ball dive on us.
Pigeon. You don't need to be there, bro. Not necessary. Too deep. Too deep. Too far from your healers.
Event tunnel.
Too vulnerable.
On our side. We should push in there.
Genji gets you.
pushing to her.
because of that, and then they don't have to care
We're all dead. Push back.
because you don't have anything to really
We need to stay together.
annoy them at all or anything.
Guys on that side.
Like after that kill, they're able to just run into your team super aggressively and kill everybody.
Ryan's marked.
Mine is literally charging your spawn doors.
You should set up.
Nah, there's no way you could kill him right there. A, you don't have the damage output. B, you don't have the CC. Dive? Blade?
Yes.
Or damage boost Blade? If you damage boost a Blade, you can swing dash and kill somebody. Same way you would with a Nano, which allows you to snowball that much quicker on 200 HP targets. Also, consistent healing is good for a Genji Blade because Nano Boost gives damage reduction, but you don't have any reduction. You have a lot of options here, right? Like, there's a lot of things you can do. There's only one thing that you cannot. Well, that's not true. There are two things you cannot do. You cannot do that because you don't have it, and you cannot do that because they have a Diva and a Reinhardt standing in your face. So that's not good. But you have a Blade, you have a Trance, you can dive, you know, you can run in there. This is an easily winnable team fight.
I have trance. Nice.
You kill the tire, it's clutch. You have to Trance because he's going to get Diva bombed. There's a Trance up. There's a Trance up's magic. I want you to know that. They're trancing. You might be waiting for the Valkyrie to end. Might not be. I'm not sure what you're thinking here, but that would have been a really good opportunity. And then they drop all their ults. You actually do Blade at some point, and you Visor. Visor super preemptively.
I went to counter the against Blade, I do believe.
Okay.
And I end up killing myself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You Visor for Blade, which is fine. That's okay. You have Trance. You have Winston ult out. They have Valk, and what else do they have? They have Blade out, and their tire just got killed. And then throw a Diva bomb.
They're gonna boost something.
They didn't boost their Diva. Going back a little bit, what does Thumper do that he needs to ult? Thumper is on full HP. Thumper's HP before ult? Thumper's HP.
Nice.
Thumper's HP before ult, after ult. Before ult, after
Probably
ult.
he was worried about the Diva bomb.
Maybe.
Maybe, but it does 1,000 damage, so he'd have to time his ultimate perfectly to survive that. Or he has a shield that he should be not doing that with. That is not a good use of a Winston. It only has 600 HP. It's not going to absorb that much damage, especially with a Junkrat there. It's just going to get melted down super quick. I mean, Diva pours her rockets into it. I mean, watch it. That's a pretty full Winston shield, and then it's gone. And now it's not helping anybody. It's not helping him. It's not helping you guys. You're all in the same situation. So Thumper jumps in, and then he ults, which forces Valk, and he gets slipped, which is unfortunate. But those are fine.
Oh shit, here comes everything.
Oh shit, here comes everything.
I got two.
This Magic pulls out a really nice Blade.
You can heal me.
Thumper could use his ult now. That would be awesome if he had his ult now. That'd be really cool. But he doesn't. Really nice Valk, by the way, and a really good Blade to kill some high priority targets.
Yeah, they're all there.
I'm done.
Oh shit's magic.
Genji's shop. I mean,
Let's go, we can finish him off. We can finish him off.
Push.
I've got payload. I have payload.
Push this Ryan.
You should have jumped. Well, Winston should have jumped into this space.
Yeah.
Hopefully Winston would have shield, but he needs to cut them off. He needs to separate the Reinhardt and those people back there, preferably with the shield. If he doesn't have it, then oh well. But
Back up.
if he jumps to the side and then Reinhardt charges away,
Mercy's on the left.
it's not going to kill him or even do any significant damage to him. You want to be between your targets and where they want to go as Winston.
Fabulous. Oh no, it was G Puppy. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the TD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercy, be up here. Be up there. Somebody actually caused you to Alden as bait,
I'm serious.
D.Va's mark.
which is a good idea.
Counter dive them.
Yeah.
My escape.
I'm serious.
D.Va's
Yeah.
Yeah,
mark.
I like how the 2 DPS are up there, at the top of the screen. I really like that.
That's really good,
That was really
actually.
good.
And your Winston's in a really good position, too, because those people need to be into the back line. And with Soldier up there, he can shoot the Reinhardt in the butt cheeks,
Yeah.
and there's nothing Reinhardt can do about it.
Pigeon saves me a lot in this fight.
D.Va needs to be on point, which is good. J Pappy, your job is to be not dead. So wherever you need to be to make that happen is fine.
Pigeon helps me out with that.
And then Alden needs to be not dead, too. Because he's a Zenyatta. He can do damage and he can do healing, but not if he's dead. And he's here, getting hammered,
Barely
No, we're
almost
gonna
get
do.
that.
We're on top.
and dies. Which is kind of expected from a Zen, but still not ideal.
Dude, watch this. I solo the D.Va mech.
Marked in the back.
Junk down.
Like, Pigeon, thank you. I would have got fucking raped by that Ryan, dude.
So Alden gets rezzed,
Ryan's
and
marked.
then it's a really good flyaway.
This D.Va, she lets me get back in mech.
D.Va's
What an
marked.
idiot.
Mercy half.
You've had a
Mercy's marked.
And she dies.
Mercy's dead.
Yo, you want to dive to Sano?
She wasn't good.
Sano's by herself.
That is very true.
I'm sitting there shooting her with my pistol. She couldn't kill me.
Take high from them.
That's pretty sad. You can punch a baby D.Va to death.
I know. I was like, what the
D.Va.
heck?
You have a Reaper now?
It's not hard. It only takes like 5 punches.
I know. And I lived. It was amazing.
Yeah. That's kind of sad.
Mercy low,
It
mercy
was.
low, mercy low.
Key point.
I'm down.
Oh, we're down.
Don't use ult, don't use ult.
Two out of mech.
Yeah, reset
Don't use
here.
ult. Yeah, get
D.Va's
okay.
marked.
Mercy
Because he
low.
was in the front of payload.
This is Alden.
Like he was standing literally on payload.
This is Alden. That is
Like,
Alden.
I was also on the side trying to
If-
help.
He should have been like over here or behind the payload.
He should have been far enough away that the Winston can't jump him past the tanks. Like, the Winston needs to be in the tank's face taking damage before he can jump the supports. That is, keep your tanks between you and the other team. That is like rule number 1 of playing support. Fat people in front. And Alden is not putting the fat people in front. Also, Mercy,
I was trying to
Let's
get a
see.
pick with Pigeon.
that is all well and good. It would be better to send your Zen than the Mercy, though, honestly.
I was damaging.
And really, Zen can Discord.
Oh yeah.
Really, you don't want to be sending either of them because now there's no DPS on point except Magic. Which, like, that's nice and all. Not really going to scare away Winston or a D.Va. And there's not much healing on point except Alden, which is nice and all, but he's a Zenyatta, and he's further forward than anybody on his team.
I just had a
So you really he's right. The Zenyatta should be back here, especially with as close as he is to Trance. Like, he just has to hit a couple shots on a tank, and then if you guys get ulted or jumped or anything like that, he can push Q. He really almost had that, which would have been awesome for this team fight. But he was way far forward, common problem with Zens, and dies, and you don't have Transcendence, and this Genji blades you. And I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction that a lot of people die. Plays a lot of games.
Don't use ult, don't use ult.
I think we actually. Oh no, we don't.
Yeah,
Wait.
reset
Don't use
here.
ult.
You need to reset here. Kill this monkey.
Not a lot of kills,
Stop, look at him half.
surprisingly.
Oh,
Granny
get
sucks.
out, get out.
But enough to force you guys away, for sure.
I have trance.
Yeah, get some heal by Zan.
You know what you should do is you should follow Pigeon.
Very winnable team fight, especially, like, you guys were all at like 90-some%.
I won't be.
All you had to do was just survive a little bit
Just try to get that
for all of your ults to come online, and then you just delete the other
Okay,
team.
everyone's up. Let's engage this.
We should focus their D.Va so we can have like free
Yep.
Let's do it.
nano. I mean, visor.
A free nano. You guys are going to get a free nano.
Focus our D.Va.
Somebody's going to give it to you.
Monkey's marked right now.
D.Va backline.
Not good. Don't use both of those at the same time. Use one or the other. Have a plan. Why are you using?
I don't know why he.
Why are you using Valkyrie?
I did it so that I don't, because like there's only 20 seconds, or it's under 20 seconds left, and I don't want to die.
Monkey's marked right now.
So I'm just gonna have it for extra
He
heals.
just trances, which is
I don't know why he would trans that.
fine.
Or,
Watch that Reaper.
Oh, he stands there and just shoots people. He's just doesn't give a shit. He just chills there. Well, Blade just came out and Reaper just got swapped too, so you don't have to worry about either of those. No support ult is going to save you from a Diva Bomb. You don't need to be scared of Lucio ult. You should be using Valk to counter a Valkyrie if possible, because it's the only ult that lasts long enough to do that. The only other ult that can really counter a Valkyrie is Graviton or Coalescence. And they don't have Winston ult. Can't remember if they... Yeah, they've only had one fight with the Winston, I think. So there's not a lot to worry about on the other team. Opening up with Trance isn't bad. You guys need to be on cart. You need presence on cart. Reaper is scary. You can use Trance to get in, absorb all that damage and all that jazz. Or you can Valk early and get in with that. You guys are absorbing a really aggressive dive. The Trance is understandable. The likelihood of any of you dying inside of this Trance is really low. But really, the idea here is just pick one. Pick one. Doesn't have to be both. One of them is fine. Thumper ults preemptively as well. Everybody's looking for the most sustain they can get.
I'm dead.
I'm out of mech. Oh, I'm not out of mech.
Alden
I'm very low.
dies because
I have Valk
he was trancing in the open and the Diva threw a bomb at it,
Kill the Reaper, kill the
which is a
Reaper.
good counter to trance.
Genji
On the
dead.
diva, on the diva.
You guys throw your ults at it until something sticks.
Monkey
On the diva in the back.
Genji one, Genji one.
Get him, get him.
Why do you get on point?
hold on, I'm gonna add. I don't. If you're, are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Pigeon.
Okay, I'm on an ad, so I don't know what's up.
Why I'm getting
Diva's
on point
job
more?
is to Diva's job is to be on point. Diva's job is as a tank in overtime is to be on point.
Reflex.
Pigeon is running on the point.
We're just gonna get me killed by AoE damage from the Gengu.
Just stay back here. Let your 600 HP player sit on point. Your other 600 HP player sit on point. Let your fat people sit on point. Right. That's their
But
job.
I'm a Kaki DPS main.
I know. And you love to be up there in the front line with your hard pocket, taking damage and laying on the law. I get it. There's a name on every bullet, but your name is on his blade, and his blade is in your face because you're on point.
I got
I'm on the
Amped.
Genji. I'm on the Genji.
It's a good thing you guys have res,
I'm diving. I'm diving.
because I'm pretty sure you actually come through with a really good visor and a lot of damage here,
On the diva.
which is fantastic. But
Reaper and Lucio on payload.
No, we cap it all.
no, you cap.
Yeah.
Full cap.
Nice.
Pigeon gets a ton of kills. You frag out because they're staggering out on the
Genji
point.
through, but he's half.
But that wouldn't have happened if Pigeon hadn't gotten rezzed, and you wouldn't have gotten rezzed if Mercy didn't have it. So you got lucky that Mercy had res. That's all I'm saying. Why not
It's
too bad,
understandable.
Because I
That was
didn't.
really on spot healing.
Because I didn't res anybody, and that was a mistake.
If I'm Junker on the right side and they dive.
I really like the Ana, by the way.
What did he say?
Ana's really good on point A here.
So, Pigeon and you.
And
Yes,
if
you
I
do.
fall back, I will generally fall back over here.
Okay.
They were. I think they were.
Okay.
No,
You switch around.
Well-
They switch around.
I won't.
Ana counters Bastion really hard,
I'm.
and then their Mercy dies like 4 times to Smagic. At least twice. I know that she dies twice pre-fight to Smagic.
I can't see
Scouting.
anything.
They have the Bastion. They have Bastion.
Why did
Where's
they have?
which way is he going?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't
your
know.
counter dive is really good though, and you can just anti-heal the other team when they dive, and Bastion's just gonna spin in a circle and hold left click.
Yeah, they're underground, underground, underground.
Underground, yeah.
The answer to this?
Magic.
Pharaoh.
Nice.
No. I want everybody to take note that Fabulous is recording this.
Dude, what do we do?
Moves magic out. Can I do that? I don't have that power. Does anybody have the power
We
to
need
move
to get.
magic?
No. Why don't we
Get
just move?
Can everybody
Mute him. Just mute him. Just mute him.
Everybody just mute him.
Alright, I'm muting him. That was too funny.
Nice. That's what we needed in life.
Yeah.
Push into them.
No way.
Leave her.
Second position.
Reset.
I'm tired.
I am on fuego. Why
Yeah, the other team was trying to make a very specific push to get that back high ground that you guys are set up on,
They're not diving.
Okay.
and put their bastion up there,
You should go in the back corner, Pigeon.
but it didn't work.
Oh,
So they all swap, which is nice.
Pigeon, you're gonna get dove. Like, call it as soon as they're on you so we can.
And look at that! Look at that!
Magic.
That's another kill of just
He's on the
Mercy
corner,
dies.
Pigeon. If you see him, he's
That's
firing at me.
lovely.
I cannot see.
He's over here.
Under, monkey.
Under.
Don't
Oh,
shoot that though. Like if you can shoot the squishies, that's fine, but don't shoot the tanks because they're actively trying to farm EMP. Like leave the Winston. They're just like, yes, I'll take damage. Yes, I'll grab health packs.
Establishing a crossfire.
And they're like, okay, let's go do this now.
No. They're going mid. They're going mid.
What is main? Is that what you mean?
Mid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They're up, Pigeon. They're like right next to you. They're preparing. They're preparing for a dive.
I'm gonna tire.
Fall back here.
Fall back to the other. They're literally right there across the side.
Second. Go.
For dive whenever.
Winston fucks up the shield. They fuck up their EMP.
I
Like bastions and turrets form after an EMP. That shouldn't happen.
I don't know how
The
she
tires
missed
clutch.
that.
How do you fuck that up so bad?
Yeah.
I move at the last second.
You were running away pretty well.
Oh, I think the EMP just hit the pillar and we were out of line of sight.
What the fuck?
Fall back to the other.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah,
Like,
the
Oh
pillar.
my god.
Like
no
she
way.
literally throws by running over here to EMP all the people in point, right? She's like, I gotta get them too.
EMP the
Maybe she
payload
thought
so
that
you
it could
can't
reach
move
the
it.
Winston. I don't know. She threw this super hard.
Dive whenever.
It's a Bastion main. What do you expect? And then Winston fucks up the shield, which is nice. And you guys have a really good counter dive and a Junkrat tire. Pretty helpful.
Heals on.
That gets
so
their
many heals, I'm
Mercy
trying.
in their Sombra.
Monkey on point. Very low. Monkey low.
We got 3.
Nice. Holy shit, dude. They didn't even get a kill, did they? No.
Dude, that counter dive is fucking insane. Like they do use everything to get to you.
A good
It's actually
counter to
crazy
this?
bump into them from the other side.
Sombra's good if you don't
I
fuck that
made
up really hard.
Probably just
We would've
looking
been
to get
fine.
the, thumper.
You could just farm a pulse bomb,
Or Bastion.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh my
which
God.
is really good.
I'm fucking
I was
Um,
gonna say just send a tracer on point and make them come down.
Me or
Yeah.
Bastion?
That's another really good one too. Tracer's kind of vulnerable to the Junkrat. But you can pick people off. Pharaoh's pretty good versus this.
Yeah.
But a Pharaoh, like way up here, corner, not what I wanted.
No, it's a bad idea.
Up
The shield can just out damage, can out the Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh can shoot this wall though and farm a barrage.
You can just fall back if that happens, because if we're taking damage, we just falling back out of
Yeah.
where.
She can force you into bad spots and then shoot other people.
True.
It's more of a zoning thing than it is a killing thing. Like Pharaoh's likelihood of killing Bastion isn't super high, but you can zone him out really easily. They do this, and then you have Nano Tank.
Diva, baby Diva. Nice.
Mercy low.
Who the hell said this strat didn't work?
Not me.
Does do you know if
I've been
damage
pushing
boost
this
stacks
since day
with
one.
nano?
Yes, I think so.
Season 1.
I'm not 100% sure on that. but I think it does.
Are they top?
What? Repeat that.
They're top. They're top.
It's the left bush. It's
What
the
was the
left.
question?
You're coming mid. You're coming mid. You're coming
I
mid.
Would
asked if
this damage boost stack nano?
Three mid. Three mid.
Winston's getting ready.
Yes.
They're gonna dive.
The
They're gonna
damage
dive. Winston's
resistance
bottom.
doesn't
Yeah,
stack.
they're diving.
But the damage boost does.
Fat heals. Oof. Bastion, you're up.
I'm down.
Their Winston is yeah. The blade was really good, but they didn't have like the proper level of support for it. You guys had a really nice counter dive. They just they didn't know what to do
Guys
about.
saved.
Genji on point.
They could have run a Junkrat. I don't know.
Winston.
They didn't think with their heads very well.
I chased their mercy into there.
They didn't get an ult fight either, right? Like the closest thing they had to an ultimate fight,
Go smart.
go further back,
They're probably
was
gonna
this. This is the closest thing they had to an ultimate fight. They never really farmed up another EMP.
dive you.
And the best ult fight they had was 3 ults,
They're gonna
and
dive.
one of them
Yeah,
was
Winston's bottom. Yeah, they're diving.
Winston ult, which is really not
Fat
much,
heals. Oof. Bastion, you're up.
I'm down.
especially because he got anti-healed. Like the whole Valkyrie got anti-healed.
Oh, I can't res, dude. Fuck.
So, because they'll jump the hallway and then Anna just threw a nade.
Got it.
That's the easiest thing to do in the world is hand.
Go smart. Oof. Guys saved.
Genji on point.
Kill Winston.
Like
Nice.
if they had gone for a 6 ult fight,
I chased
they
their
probably
mercy
could have
into
taken you ult for ult. Just traded out. The Lucio was kind of a waste too. They didn't need a Lucio. A Zen would have been nice. Moira could have been good. And Anna would have been pretty good too, possibly. Lucio kind of a waste. And that is all of scrims.
Wow. Nice.
Many memes were made tonight.
Yeah. Many of memes.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
What I like to do. Plus, I get to see things like those pro graviton. And I can take notes
That's what I'm
on my
saying, dude.
skills as a player.
Dude,
Dude,
hope you've been taking notes.